Hey guys, welcome to the Homestead. So today we're out here talking about my improvements that I just made on my radio antennas, my ham radio communications, CB radio, and GMRS radio communications equipment. I have raised up these antennas about another 6 feet. So they were down pretty low before, and I went up a little bit higher with those. And so I have a high frequency HF antenna, and I have a dual band UHF VHF antenna. And so both of them have been raised up. Let me show you how I grounded them, and then I'm going to show you how I powered them. So like I was saying, this one here is a UHF VHF dual band antenna. This is a high frequency CB radio antenna, and you can use it also for HF rigs, other high frequency radios. This is my grounding box that I have here. Let me open this up for you. And here's my UHF VHF. Here's my HF. And so the antennas come into here, they're grounded on this copper plate, and then the copper plate is connected to here, which then goes down into here, which is a ground rod. Okay, you gotta have a ground rod. Ground rods are very important. If you don't have a ground rod for your antennas, you're just asking your local lightning distributor to blow up your house. So there you go. I've got two more lines connected to here. This one goes to another grounding rod, which is about 16 feet away. So I have two grounding rods bonded together. And so one grounding rod connected to another grounding rod. And then this one here is connected to this pole right here, which is my HF pole, which is also grounded by the antenna and the pole itself. Right there. Now, this pole here is also grounded to the roof, which the roof is grounded, and then that grounding line comes down into here, into the box, and then again, it's connected to the grounding plate, which is connected to the grounding rod. So I hope that gives you an idea of how I have this grounded. Grounding is very, very important, but I'm hoping, I haven't done a lot of testing yet with some of my neighbors and some other friends that are in the area to see how well better my reception and receiving is going to be. Well, receiving and transmitting is going to be. I'm hoping there's going to be a little bit of a difference. Again, my strategy when it comes to radio communications, especially ham radio and CB radio, high frequency radio, is going to be more about listening and rather than transceiving and transmitting. So I'm more about listening and to see what's going on in the world. With this antenna, I can hear just on CB radio. I have the upper band, lower side bands radios, and I can hear from coast to coast in other parts of the world. It does a great job at receiving traffic from all over the place. This is really great for local. I can hear people, all kinds of repeaters and all kinds of traffic from multiple nearby states. I'm really happy with how this setup is, but let me go ahead and take you inside and show you the Oupes solar generator that I'm using to power it all in case of an emergency. All right, welcome back inside. We're in my office now. This is normally the place where I have my radio set up. On the other side of the camera, behind the camera, is usually where I have my desk set up, and that's where I rant and rave to all of you in some of my other videos. But in this video, we're going to review what's basically yet another Oupes product. I think this is like the fifth one I've done over the years. And what I try to talk about for the majority of these products, these solar generators, number one, yeah, communications we're going to talk about today, but also, you know, things like refrigeration and freezers. And it goes something like this. You know, you have a freezer full of meat, the electricity goes out, and now you need to find a way to get that freezer going again. And having an emergency backup power supply like this solar generator that can be recharged with the sun, it gives you time. It gives you time to figure out other alternatives if you need them. You know, the sun doesn't come up every day. We have cloud cover, we have rainstorms, we have snowstorms, we have all these things that prevent the sun from doing its job when it comes to a solar generator. But for the most part, this is going to buy you some time so that you can start canning, you can start figuring out a way to save that meat, which could be sometimes, you know, thousands of dollars worth. All that said, we now switch over to communications, emergency communications. And right now I have a number of units set up, mobile units that take DC power, and these Oupes units do fantastic when it comes to DC power. So it does DC power, it does AC power, and USB. So AC down here, USBs over here, USB-Cs, and then DC over here. So my rundown on my radios is thus. I have a GMRS radio I have a 2-meter radio. I think this is a 25 watt. This is a 75 watt. And the CB radio, it's an upper sideband, lower sideband, 12 watt, and then a regular CB radio, which is only legally allowed to be 4 watt. Now, if you turn it on channel 6, like I showed you at the beginning of the video, it's called like the Super Bowl channel. There's like a number of Super Bowl channels out there where you can hear all kinds of people talking from all over the world. I listened to Barbados, Bahamas today.
Flight 27, Core 1 in Barbados. Hello, Flight 27, Core 1 on the mail.
A lot of times, even in the United States, they break the law and they put like a 50 watt or 100 watt amp on their CB radio so that it's like they just have much more power, they have much more reach, and there's no way little people like me can compete with those. And no one on those channels is ever going to hear someone like me who's running a legal unit, a legal 4 or 12 watt unit. So these guys are running amps, and they are on those Super Bowl channels, and they are talking loud and clear to the entire hemisphere that they're in. And yeah, so 6 is a big one, 9 is a big one. So there's all kinds of traffic on 6, 7, 9. I think 20 was really popping earlier. Let's see if 20 is popping now. Now this radio over here is actually using a cigarette lighter. So this is a connection that I found on Amazon. You can find these online all day long. And they basically switch back into these units right here, these radio units. And so they have the same T connectors. You can buy them with the same T connectors that these radios have. And so you buy that, and then you have the DC port on the Oupes. You plug it in, and your radio works. It's a DC power supply. The other one are these down here. These are the 5.5 millimeter jacks that the Oupes has. And these also have the T connectors. You can buy them. So all you gotta do is buy, like, the wire. And these little connectors, these 5.5 millimeter connectors, you can buy like in bulk for like, I don't know, a few dollars. And you got a red wire and a blue wire, right? So you basically squeeze the red button to put the red wire in, and you squeeze the black button to put the black wire in. And then you can take that, now that it's connected, because the other end of that wire has that T-clip that connects right into your radios, and plug it right into the 5.5 millimeter DC ports on your Oupes. Super simple, super easy. Now, most of the ads that you're going to see with these things usually show like a family out camping, or they're in an RV somewhere, or, they're living out of the back of a pickup like a hobo, or so, I don't know, who knows. But, I'm looking at this with a preparedness mindset. I'm looking at this, okay, how can I use these things with my idea in mind that we are in serious economic trouble in this country, $36 trillion in debt. I'm thinking, you know what? The sun comes up most days, more days than not, at least where I live. I know if you're like in Seattle, you have a horrible, horrible existence, and the sun never shines there, and you just want to lay down in the gutter and for life to end. But here, where the sun shines most days, here in this, what was technically called the South, we like the ability that I can use this. It can take up to 800 watts of solar panels through an Anderson jack that plugs into the unit, and you can use that to charge up the unit. Use those solar panels to charge up the solar generator, because it's not gas powered. If a neighbor in a neighborhood somewhere runs his gas generator, everybody hears it, especially if it's a big one, unless it's like a really expensive Honda. And the Hondas, for the most part, are pretty quiet. However, most people can't afford those really expensive Honda generators that are really quiet. So most of you are going to buy your generators at Lowe's or Home Depot, and they're going to sound like really loud. And when you do that, you're going to tell everybody that you're generating power, and that you have gasoline, and that you may have a freezer full of meat that you're trying to keep cold. So you've got food. Well, with something like this, all you do is you have some solar panels in your backyard. You put them out, you fold them out. You can get the. Listen, guys, you can buy the transportable, portable solar panels that fold up, and those are fine, but they're not good long term. You want to have something a little more stationary. I'll do a video on that coming up soon, and I'm going to show you how I have mine set up. I have a couple of solar panels dedicated to charging these units. They're separate from my other main array of solar panels, completely separate. We'll talk about that in another video. But with this, you've got 800 watts of input. It's going to charge really fast. If you do have AC power, this thing charges super fast. I think I charged it. It came in the mail, and it was like charged at like 64, 65%. And within like 10 minutes, 15 minutes, it was fully charged at 100%. It was amazing how fast this went. I could not believe. I'm sitting here watching this, and I'm like, normally, because you plug something in to charge it in, it's like watching paint dry. This was like, I couldn't believe how fast it was. And I'm off grid, so I'm generating all my own. This basically charged itself off my battery bank. Now, I did run my generator today a little bit because I was wanting to keep it topped off at the end of the afternoon when I was charging this up. But it was still charging off my off-grid system that I have here on the Homestead. The most important thing you got to remember about these units, I don't care. There's lots of different brands out there, lots of different brands. But the biggest issue you have to remember is the safety issue. You must get a product that has lithium iron phosphate batteries. That's the LiFePO4 batteries. Lithium iron, not lithium ion. Those are the ones that are in the cars that explode. Lithium iron phosphate, LiFePO4 batteries. They're a much more safe and stable battery. There have been a lot of horror stories out there on people who have gotten the nickel, manganese, cobalt, or the lithium ion batteries, and they are not stable. They are not safe. You do not want those in your home. And there's a lot of brands out there that make them, make these solar generators with those batteries. You do not want those. You want the lithium iron phosphate that come with the Oupes brand. So when it comes to keeping these radios running, I've already given you some options. When you want to plug into the DC power, you can get the cigarette ones. You want to get the T connectors for the cigarette lighters or for the 5.5 millimeter. They make those T connections that fit directly into your radios. So make sure you search Amazon for those T connectors that fit for those that will plug into this unit or a unit like it. The solar generator comes with all these wires and cables to make it function. Let's take a look inside and see what we got. You've got, this is the power cable. This is what connects to the back if you want to connect AC power into your wall outlet to fire it up. And this did charge very quickly. I mean, it was like 15 minutes, and it was like charged when it came in after it came in the mail. So it charges fast. This is the Anderson. No. This is the MC4 connector and Anderson. So basically, if you had a dedicated solar panel array, or if you bought one of the portable ones, you can plug these into the solar panels, and this goes into the back of the unit, or actually the side of the unit in this case. And it also comes with a spare Anderson jack and a cigarette lighter cable. And this would be if you're driving this in your car. So let's just say you're going on that camping trip like they try to advertise all the time, and you're going to bring this along with you because you want to have a little bit of electricity and power to maybe power your cell phones or something else along with you during your trip. You plug this into your cigarette power supply. Do they even use cigarettes in those cars anymore? I mean, it's like everyone my age, every Gen Xer just calls it, cigarette lighter. Because that's what we all grew up with. Every single one of us burned their fingers on those things. Every single one of you did that. And if you're a Gen Xer, don't lie to me. Don't tell me you didn't do it. You know you did. Leave a comment below. So it does come with a cigarette lighter adapter and the Anderson jack to charge when you're on the go in your vehicle. When it comes to radios, my main strategy is listening. I want to listen. I want to hear what's going on out there. If there's something going on, if there's rumors, as soon as you key your mic, you're putting yourself on a map. There are people who have frequency detectors who can detect you and then triangulate your position within a matter of minutes, if not seconds, especially when it comes to the government and what they have. So my goal, my strategy in all this is to listen. Have the ability to have the HF rig, have the ability to talk locally on like GMRS, something that would work really well within these mountains on low power, to talk to my neighbors and stuff like that. But other than that, I just want to listen out there to see if I have the 2-meter rig that can reach, a couple states away or, definitely in the region of the country I live in, and listen to all the traffic going on out there and just gather information and hear what's going on in the world if there was ever a grid down situation, a complete grid down situation. Listen, right now there's a few days left in the sale that they're running. This is normally like an $800, $700 unit. And I think they're running it right now for like $400 or something like that. Some kind of crazy sale you can find. If you go to my website, AnAmericanHomestead.com, you'll find a banner ad for the Oupes on that website. You click on that banner ad, and then you go right to the website, and you can see all the sales that they're having. Or you can find the link down in the description below. But check out the link, and they're running a bunch of sales right now for a few days left because of the season that we're in. So if you're looking for something like this and you're waiting for the deals to come up, now is the time. Right now is the time to get those deals. And the main question I'll leave you with on this video is, where are you at in your communication setup? Do you have backup power? Do you have radios set up? What radios? 2 meter, CB, HF, GMRS? Where are you at in your radio communications journey? I'm telling you right now, this is something you want to learn before times get bad. You want to learn this stuff before you have to use it. Because just pulling it out of the box and expecting to be able to reach out and talk to people or listen to conversations is not going to happen if you don't know how to use your equipment. And I'm telling you, these manuals that come with most of the equipment for these radios, you're not going to be able to figure it out. They read like perfect Chinglish, and it's just not going to be good for you to try to sit down and figure this stuff out and comprehend it all if you don't take in now the opportunity to watch videos and see how people set these things up. On Patreon, I have a number of videos where you can go and you can watch my whole playlist on radios. And there's lots of other channels out there who offer the same great information. Take advantage now. The time is now to learn this information, learn this stuff, and get set up for it. I'll have a link for this down below, and get some of these to go with it. They come in really handy. And let me know if you ever burnt your finger on the cigarette lighters in your car when you were back in the 1980s, 1970s. I sure did. All right. See you next time in the Homestead. Bye. One of the best perks about living off-grid is that I never pay an electric bill. I love being my own power company, but that means when things go wrong, I have to be the one on call. So I try and use reliable components for my power production. For the last couple of years, I have been promoting Oupes solar generators. I've been using them and abusing them, and as it turns out, they are pretty good products. They have power generators for all occasions, and they can be charged by permanent or portable solar panels, as well as AC power. They offer true lithium iron phosphate batteries, and this is important. Recently, a family in my area had a different brand that uses the less stable nickel manganese cobalt, or NMC type batteries. The unit caught fire in the middle of the night. It was a scary situation and it caused damage to the home, but thankfully nobody was hurt. The generator, as you can see, was a total loss. This drives home the point on why it's so important to employ solar generators like the Oupes brand that uses the much more safe and stable technology of lithium iron phosphate, otherwise called LiFePO4. They offer small generators for travel or for powering an entire home and everything in between. These are great backups to have in a medical emergency, or to power a freezer full of your favorite meat products, or as I have shown in past videos, for even backup AC and DC power sources for ham radio communications. If the grid goes down, you're going to be thankful you have one of these units. You can find the link in the description of this video or click on the banner ad found on the front page of our website at AmericanHomestead.com. Right here, that banner ad right there on AmericanHomestead.com. Hey guys, did you know you can become a patron of an American Homestead? They get access to private videos, and we send them gifts from the Homestead that we make here on the Homestead. And we also enter our patrons into special giveaways that are only available to them. And before you go, please check out these other great videos. Go ahead, click. I'll wait.